educate, and advance the culture in America today. Janice Pons is a mother, author, and free thinker, and your host for our podcast this evening. Now let's join your host, Janice Pons.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Janice Pons. I am the host on this broadcast, From Destruction to Dignity, Clinical Perspective, Spiritual Truths. Tonight, we're going to continue on our amazing journey as we, the people, have been focused on a specific journey for the past few months related to the 5 pillars of our great nation: Social Security for our senior citizens, the military, education, health care through Medicare, and the interest on our national debt. And this month of March, we are dissecting that particular pillar about the interest on our national debt. Remember, now I want to remind you of this because we're going to dive. Remember, we're going somewhere and it's expecting us when we get there. But I want to remind you that we're headed to the state capitals. It's just a few weeks away. April the 13th, we're continuing to form the prayer hubs all over the nation and culminating on October the 12th on the Washington Federal Mall, where we're going to have 1 million voices arising, a day of fasting, prayer, singing praises unto God on behalf of this nation. My email address is info@janicepons.com if you want help in knowing how to set up a prayer hub or to join one in your area. I am here to assist in getting you connected if that's what you desire. Yes. So, there are 210 million Christians in America. 62% of us. Yes. And based upon the interactions that I'm seeing on janicepons.com, I said this before and I'm going to say it again. We're going to talk about that this month because we want to get these numbers up, guys. Collectively, this is an important year. So based upon the interactions that I'm seeing on janicepons.com, all I'm seeing is about 1,000 gathered to pray for our nation on October 12th, 2024. That's going to change. You know why? Because you're going to help me. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I'm asking you to respectfully help me. I'm respectfully asking for your help. The goal is to get 1 million voices arising on the Washington Federal Mall. We got the state capitals April 13th, okay? Then we have the Washington Federal Mall on October 12th. You can't convince me that you don't know 10 Christians. You know, somewhere in America, you know 10 believers. Christians, I need the 1,000 Christians interacting on janicepons.com to reach out to 10 Christians, your family, your friends, your associates. Yes, them. Then we will reach 10,000 people. Yeah, you see exponentially what can happen? I want them to send it to 10 people that they know. When the 100,000 that we'll have at that time gets it to 10 people they know, we'll have the 1 million souls just like me, just like you, all of us gathered at the Washington Federal Mall, fasting, praying, interceding. We will be singing praises unto our God. It's going to be a powerful, magnanimous, anointed day. Yes, we're praying for our children. We're targeting our children in the schools who've been viciously attacked with the process of indoctrination and dictatorship. Remember, I spent an entire month talking about that, dissecting that. That was episodes 138 through 141. I respectfully invite you to go back and look at those. I dissected that. Listen, that thing was handled way back then. It was cut off at its root. My prayer, in addition to the kids, their parents, the 240 million working Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, trying to keep food on the table, trying to keep gas in the car. They can barely make ends meet. My heart is towards them because I know you got to deal with the whole unit. There are dynamics going on, and this contributes to toxic parenting. That's going on in our nation. They're very vulnerable to embrace toxic behaviors in their relationships. Why? They don't have coping skills. My fellow Americans, my brothers and sisters in Christ, these dynamics are going on in our great nation, and we want to give it our immediate attention. It's dire. So, you know what? We're going to go to the core of this, to the core of what's going on in our nation financially. We're going to talk about the federal revenue spending. We're going to talk about the deficit, and we're going to talk about the national debt. We all know that the government has to have money to run our great nation. How do they get it? The federal government collects revenue from a variety of sources, including individual or personal income taxes, payroll taxes, corporate income taxes, and excise taxes. It also collects revenue from services like admissions to national parks and customs duties. In 2023, the federal government collected $4.44 trillion, collected it from we the people. The primary source of revenue in the United States government in 2023 was individual income tax. Now, all across America, banks, this is a core. Listen to me here. Listen to me here. All across America, banks are paying the same interest rate to all of their depositors. Banks pay the same amount to everyone in terms of interest rate. Therefore, all American taxpayers should pay the same tax rate. We're talking about fiscal matters. Fiscal matters. Yes, yes, yes. You know what I'm proposing? There are answers. I'm proposing that on personal individual income tax, 8.55%. Payroll taxes, leave that at the current level, but corporate income taxes, 8.55%. And excise taxes, 8.55%. 8 for 8 will make America great. We've got to tackle this national deficit. Yes, yes, yes. In 2023, the federal government spent $170 trillion more than it collected, resulting in a deficit. Compared to the previous year, 2022, the national deficit increased by $320 billion last year, 2023. The deficit this year has contributed to a national debt of $34 trillion through December 2023. The national debt is the money the federal government has borrowed to cover the outstanding balance of expenses incurred over time. What are we going to do about this $34 trillion, guys? Keep kicking the can down the road for the kids, for the grandkids? It is a national security threat. We got to address it. To pay for a deficit, the federal government borrows additional funds, which increases the debt. Imagine running your household on a debt that keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. It will implode. That's how people lose their houses. That's how people are becoming hopeless. Oh, yes. Other activities contribute to the change in federal debt, such as changes in the Treasury's operating cash account and federal student loans. The total debt for the U.S. through February 6th of 2024 is $34.20 trillion debt. What are they doing about it? What are the leaders, what the president, right here, what are they doing about it? At the end of 2023, the government had $33.17 trillion in federal debt. In 2023, the national debt increased by $2.24 trillion compared to 2022. Does anybody need to be thinking about this? What are they doing on Capitol Hill about this? As we can see, my fellow Americans, the dynamics we are dealing with is overwhelming for so many families, especially the ones living paycheck to paycheck. Many of the 240 million Americans who are stressed out, they don't know how they're going to make it. They don't know how they're going to make ends meet. Who cares about them? I do. Janice Pons has great compassion for them. They're the ones that end up being hopeless. This can contribute to them embracing behavioral patterns of becoming a toxic parent. Yes, we need to focus on the kids, but we need to focus on their parents too. It's a whole unit. It's multifaceted. We want all the parents in our great nation to be successful and avoid slippery slopes as it relates to parenting. Therefore, from a clinical perspective, we are going to look at toxic parenting. Yes. Listen, what does toxic parenting look like? It may look like being emotionally manipulative. Yeah. Emotionally manipulative behavior is something that toxic parents do. A toxic parent may use emotional manipulation to control their child's behavior. This can include guilt tripping, using fear tactics, or constantly putting their child down. A parent who's emotionally manipulative may make their child feel like they are never good enough or like they owe their parents something. Another thing, they have an inability to apologize. Yes, they do. A toxic parent may refuse to apologize for their mistakes or take responsibility for their actions. This can make it difficult for their child to trust them or feel heard. A parent who is unable to apologize may make their child feel like their feelings don't even matter or like their parent doesn't care about their well-being. Listen, one of the most powerful things I ever did was to apologize to my son when I missed it. I cried. He held me. Yes. We grew closer together. I missed it, son. I take full responsibility. I am sorry. Will you please forgive me? Another way that toxic parenting manifests is constant criticism. Who wants to be criticized all the time? A toxic parent may constantly criticize their child, making them feel like they can never do anything right. This can damage a child's self-esteem and make them feel like they're just not even worthy of love or respect. A parent who's always critical may make their child feel like they can never be successful or happy, hollering at them all the time, berating them. Come on. You know what else toxic parents do? They have a lack of boundaries. A toxic parent may have difficulty respecting their child's boundaries or personal space. This can lead to a child feeling like their privacy is constantly being invaded or like they're not allowed to even have their own opinions. Yeah, a parent can have this lack of boundaries and they make the child feel like they're not even their own person. Yeah. Or they're just constantly have to be, the child feels like they have to constantly be conformed to the parents' expectations. They can't even have any expectations of themselves. This is a huge one. Gaslighting. Woo! Gaslighting. I've seen that. Been in the midst of it. In a church. Personal relationships, on jobs. A toxic parent may use gaslighting tactic to make their child question their own reality. This can include denying past events, making their child doubt their own memories, or constantly changing the story. A parent who gaslights may make their child feel like they're going crazy or like their own thoughts and feelings can't even be trusted. Gaslighting. Another form of toxic parenting that people are being inundated with, blaming the child for their emotions. A toxic parent can blame their child for their own emotions, making the child feel like they're responsible for their parents' happiness. This can lead to a child feeling like they must constantly cater to their parents' needs or like their own emotions are not valid. This is classic codependency, and the child ends up taking care of everybody else at their own expense. A parent who blames their child for their emotions may make their child feel like they are a burden or they can never do enough to make their parent happy. Another characteristic of toxic parenting. Physical or verbal abuse. A toxic parent may physically or verbally abuse their child, causing lasting trauma and damaging their soul. This can include hitting, yelling, or other forms of physical or emotional violence. A parent who is abusive may make their child feel like they are in constant danger. They're on edge all the time. How are they supposed to learn? How are they supposed to thrive feeling like that? Like they must walk on eggshells around their parents. Why? To avoid making them angry. Here's another characteristic: micromanaging behavior. A toxic parent, they micromanage their child's life, leaving little room for the child to make their own decisions. This can make the child feel like they're constantly under surveillance. They're just nervous all the time, anxious, feeling like they can't be trusted to make their own choices. You got to foster independence under parental guidance. A parent who is micromanaging may make their child feel like they're not even capable of taking care of themselves, or like they must always seek their parents' approval. They end up being crippled. I've seen it over and over again. Here's another characteristic of toxic parenting. That's what we're talking about. It's rampant in our nation, but God has a better way. Ignoring boundaries. A toxic parent may ignore their child's boundaries or make the child feel like the boundaries they're not even important. This can lead to a child feeling like they're not even respected, or like they're not even allowed to have their own opinions or beliefs. Imagine growing up, that's forming your soul, your mind, your will, your emotions, your intellect, your drive, and your desires. A parent who ignores boundaries may make their child feel like they're not even valued as a person, and like their feelings are not even important. What about this? Competing with a child. Competing, yeah. A toxic parent may compete with their own child, whether it's in academics, sports, or other areas. This leads to a child feeling like they must constantly prove themselves, or like they're just not good enough. A parent who competes with their child may make their child feel like they're in constant competition with their own parent, which can damage their relationship and self-esteem. You know, I'm going to go with this. And you know me, I'm always talking about that therapeutic process. It can literally change your life. A lot of times we lack strategies, skills, and tools for wellness and recovery. Do we deserve to have strategies, skills, and tools for wellness and recovery? Of course we do, but it looks like something. It's observable. Boy, if we ever get this, it's observable and measurable. Do you know what? If I was the president of the United States of America, boy, I tell you what, there are angles I would take in partnering the school systems, churches, families. You know what? I would designate in America a marvelous Monday, terrific Tuesday. We're still talking about toxic parenting. We're talking about America. We're talking about making America great. Yeah, we talked about 8 for 8, make America great. If we don't have these observable strategies, skills, and tools and plans in place, we'll keep on doing the same old thing. That's toxic. So we talked about the 8.55% tax for everybody. Everybody. Yeah, it's equitable. Because remember, this is important. This is an important concept. I'm capping this up, but this is an important concept. When you go to the bank and you put money in the bank, whether it's $1 million or $100, does the bank pay everybody the same rate? Yes or no? We know the answer is yes. So if everybody's getting the same rate, as far as finances are concerned, what about everybody getting the same rate as far as our taxes are concerned? Guys, in 8 years, the interest on the national debt will be gone. All those tax expenditures, those tax breaks. Listen, everybody getting the same tax break. Do it for 8 years. I'm talking about a moratorium. A moratorium is where we make a decision that for a certain period of time, this is what we're going to do. We will turn this country. Don't tell me we don't have answers. What I'm saying right now tonight is doable. We've got to, our nation is on a slippery slope. You can't tell me we can't turn this thing around. Parents are checking out, but we don't want them to be toxic. No. Strategy, skills, and tools. So, if I was the president, I would encourage the churches, the schools to work together to have a marvelous Monday. And we would do certain things as a nation on that Monday. A terrific Tuesday. We got Super Tuesday coming up. That's going to be a terrific Tuesday. Yeah. What will that look like? What would be the observable, measurable things that we could do as a nation that is, boy, have you heard what they doing every Tuesday that they're focused on in the United States of America? Boy, they turn that thing around. See, that's how I run treatment programs. We need a treatment program up in here. Marvelous Monday, terrific Tuesday, wonderful Wednesday. We're talking about getting to the root of this toxic parenting. We're talking about getting to the root of what's even going on financially. We got a number for that, 8.55. 8.55, everybody, 8.55. Everybody saying the same thing. Yes, we're on the same page in America now. Have you heard about what they're doing in America? Oh, yeah. And they got the churches talking about it from the pulpit. That, yeah, they're supporting parents and the school system and the superintendent, everybody on the same page. They got a marvelous Monday. They got a terrific Tuesday. They got a wonderful Wednesday. Instead of this dictatorship that's going on in the schools, where we're teaching kindergartners and first graders how to masturbate and teaching middle schoolers the dangerous, read the medical articles about it, the dangerous sexual act of fisting, taking their fist and putting it inside somebody's body. We gotta call a spade a spade. And then we're wondering why in 2021, from 1 month to the next month, girls, the rate of girls from 12 to 17 attempting suicide increased 51%. Am I talking to somebody? If you're challenged with that in your family, you call 988. You call 911. You get the intervention. We talked about Medicare covering this therapy. Medicaid covers it on a state level. Listen, I'm passionate about this because I know how it works. I've been in this for 44 years. Listen, marvelous Monday, terrific Tuesday, wonderful Wednesday, tremendous Thursday. We're coming on into the home stretch of the week. Yeah, this is what we do in America. Guys, somebody got to think about this. Up there showing up on Capitol Hill, warming a seat. We paying you $174,000 a year to do what? Going back to your community. Go back to your community and make $174,000 a year in your community. Can you get a job? We can ready to recall some elections. Yes, we are. Yeah. We know how to do it. Am I talking to anybody? It's tragic what's going on in our nation, but it's all subject to change. Fabulous Friday. I'm a clinician, but I'm an American. I'm proud to be an American. Well, at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. You see our beautiful flag? You see this presidential seal? You think Janice Pond's not serious about saving this nation? We need all hands on deck. For there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Listen, guys, we got to do something different. I'm pouring out my heart. You know why? We are worth it. We're worth it. These kids are suffering this dictatorship that our taxpayer dollars are paying for. Go back to episode 136. You can dissect that and understand that. Our 5 pillars: Social Security, the military that protects us from all enemies, both foreign and domestic. Our education system, which has been seized and is all subject to change. I'm shouting out to Ryan Walters, the superintendent of in Oklahoma. Takes a lot of punches. Men with backbone that are like, we are not going to stand by and silently go along with this. Thank you, sir, for getting PragerU videos in the school systems. They are excellent. I've heard parents say, well, I don't know, but you know what they're showing in schools now. What can we do about it? In Oklahoma, we're doing something about it. We got somebody with backbone. He doesn't mind taking a punch. That's right. We got to stand up. We need more Ryan Walters. You know what? We're going to the state capitals. A call to the capitals on April the 13th. We're targeting our children and we're targeting our families. Tonight we talked about toxic parenting. Guys, this stuff can change. I had one of those characteristics that pop up with me. Boy, God snatched me right back in place. He said, you go to your son right now and you apologize to him for what you said and how you talked to him. Yeah, we got so close. I love my son. So, I'm a Blue Star mama. I'm serious about it. This flag means something to me. This seal means something to me. I'm an American descendant of slaves, ADOS. I love this nation. Slaves helped build this nation, and so did other Americans too. We're all in this together because we are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to pray over us tonight as a nation. Father, we come to you. We thank you that you said we could come boldly to your throne to find grace and help and mercy in the time of need. America is on a slippery slope. We're in a time of need, Father. God, you said in your word that if we who are called by your name would humble ourselves and pray and seek your face and turn from our wicked ways, you would that you would hear from heaven and you would heal our land. We need our land healed. It's a mess, and I'm talking about it. But you got solutions. You have strategies, you have skills, and you have tools. And I pray for my fellow Americans that we empower each other, that we stand together. These school systems and churches will come together and stop being having no backbone. Churches need to be in the middle of it all. How do we have changes in our country? Marvelous Monday, terrific Tuesdays, wonderful Wednesdays, tremendous Thursdays, fantastic Fridays, where families are coming together. Churches are undergirding everybody. 2, go. Yes, from destruction to dignity. I'll see you next week. We're going to dive in deeper. Keep your seatbelt on. We're going somewhere, and it's expecting us when we get there. Good night.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Janice's mission is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point people towards intervention when needed. As a reminder, this show is not therapy, but for educational purposes only. For more information, check out JanicePons.com or follow her on social media.
Education, affirmation, dedication, information, revelation. A new nation. We are God empowered. Strength is ours. Liberty. Been dedication, information, revelation.